All right. Let's do the questions here for the week. All right. British lady listener responding to male Brit listener. Hey, Bill, cheerio. I'm a long-time lady listener, and you are keeping me company in my kitchen office as I work from home through this pandemic. That's great. Oh, I'm Scottish. You prefer Bill Willem? Bill Willem, you prefer Bill Willem? When the fuck's the fucking podcast? I can't do a Scottish accent. I'm Scottish, but I live in Wales. I lived in London for 15 years. Jesus Christ. I get around. Before moving here, so my husband and I could actually afford to buy a house. I'm responding to the male Brit who emailed you about the proposed curfew for men, which was suggested after a young woman was snatched from the street and murdered by a serving London police officer. Wow. See that? America is an American story right there happening in London. American piece of shit in London. See, it's not always us. All right, the background to this is before the cops had worked out, it was one of their own officers. Before the cops had worked it out. Before the cops had worked out, it was one of their own officers who had kidnapped and murdered this girl. This is so fucking horrible. The Met, London police had advised that all women should stay at home to avoid the same thing happening to them. The female member of parliament who suggested the male curfew, because a guy did it to the woman. That's so fucking stupid. What do you think, the fucking serial killer's going to be like, well, I guess I got to stay home. I guess I got to start following rules now. Baroness Jones did so in protest and to provoke a response. She later said, I'm just trying to highlight the fact that when the police victim blame by asking women to stay at home, we don't react. But when I suggest it for men, everyone is up in arms. They're not victim blaming. They're trying to fucking protect you because this is what this person is going after. I swear to God, dude. I swear to God. The only thing that's important right now in life is that scientists said by 2050, the amount of plastic in the ocean is going to outweigh the amount of fish. I just watched this fucking thing where these fish are up at the top of the surface because there's no oxygen in the water, and these whales have to create a new way of hunting because of all the plastic we're throwing in there. And everybody's going like, right, they're fucking victim blame, trying to save your fucking life. You know, if the cops could say, hey, can all psychopath, women-killing serial killers all stay home this evening, then you could go out. Victim blame. Jesus fucking Christ. The world has gone fucking nuts. If somebody was out there killing redheads and the cops told me to stay home, I wouldn't be like, stop freckle blaming. I'd fucking stay home. Or maybe, start working with the cops and walk down the street with a revealing outfit and try to lure the guy out of the bushes. Wearing my little wire on my brassiere. The listener who told you about the suggested male curfew sounds like a little like my husband, who responded by saying, not all men do that, and a curfew for men criminalizes the good guys. I wholeheartedly agree that not even close to all men behave or act like that, but almost all women have been affected by male violence at some point in their life. And we've all been affected by toxic women and psycho chicks too. Okay, human beings are unbelievably flawed. Having said all this, if the cops told me to stay home because there's some piece of shit out there kidnapping and fucking, killing women, I would stay home because I get their thing where it's kind of like, all right, well, this guy has this hunger he needs to feed. He's going to go out. He's going to go out. No, wait, the cops didn't tell the guys. Now I'm all confused. The lady said for the guys to stay home. I don't give a fuck. This is what I would do. If I was a man or a woman, whatever the cops are telling me to do, they're trying to catch the fucking guy. So I would listen to the cops and I'd stop making it about yourself, male or female. All right? Anyway, to give you an idea, just a few things that have happened to me are, I was severely beaten up in the street by an ex-boyfriend. I took that fucker to court and he was convicted. Almost 20 years later, I still have nerve damage in my face from it. Jesus Christ. On a morning commute to work, I was struck in the nose in nose-to-tail London traffic. A suited and booted douchebag in the Mercedes next to me was wanking whilst looking me dead in the eye. I sat with my hand on the horn, shouting out the window and pointing until he put his skanky dick away. Jesus Christ. What the fuck is going on in London? I was horribly and intimately groped by a man on the London tube. I was filming in Belgium. Oh, Jesus, at least you fucking finally left London. I work in TV production, and some dickhead member of the public came out of nowhere and groped my tit before running away. I was wrapped up in a winter coat, so wasn't wearing anything that caused me to, quote, ask for it. This is horrible. Stating the obvious. Most recently, I was followed home in the dark by some angry crackhead guy, as he was so messed up on whatever shit he'd taken, I could thankfully run faster than him and got into my house before he reached my street and worked out where I lived. Every single female friend I have has similar to worse stories than mine. Worse stories than nerve damage 20 years later. Every single female friend you have. So whilst I agree that not all men behave like this, instead of pissing and moaning, it would be helpful for guys if guys got as angry when the authorities suggested us women should stay at home to avoid being raped and murdered. On a lighter note, we're looking forward to when you're going to be back over. Yeah, I think both sexes need to just listen to the cop, because I think you said it there. The authorities are trying to make sure you don't get raped and murdered. That just let the cops do their work. Everybody get out of their own ego and stop making this fucking Hatfields and McCoys. There's a bunch of great women and men out there that would like to see this guy get caught. And the people whose job it is to get him caught are the cops. So if they come up with a game plan, why don't you go with it? It's like when the doctors come up with a game plan to beat a virus. Why don't you go with it instead of trying to become your own fucking doctor? But whatever. What do I know? I'm just a fucking comedian. All right, plowing ahead here.